John Donne, Meditations on the Sound of the Funeral Bell, emerging on the 16th and 17th days of a grave illness as the fever approached its crisis. The learned engineer Girolamo Maggi writ a discourse of bells when he was prisoner in Turkey. How would he have enlarged himself if he had been my fellow prisoner in this sick bed, so near to that steeple which never ceases? When the Turks took Constantinople, they melted the bells into ordnance. I have heard both bells and ordnance, but never been so much affected with those as with these bells. I have lain near a steeple in which there are said to be more than 30 bells, and near another where there is one so big as that the clapper is said to weigh more than 600 pounds, yet never so affected as here. Here the bells can scarce solemnize the funeral of any person but that I knew him, or knew that he was my neighbour. We dwelt in houses near to one another before, but now he is gone into that house into which I must follow him. As therefore the bell that rings to a sermon calls not upon the preacher only, but upon the congregation to come, so this bell calls us all. But how much more me, who am brought so near the door by this sickness? But, O my God, do I that have this fever need other remembrances of my mortality? Is not mine own hollow voice enough to pronounce that to me? Need I go for death to my neighbour's house, that have him in my bosom? Affliction is a treasure, and scarce any man hath enough of it. But if a man carry treasure in bullion or in a wedge of gold, and have none coined into current money, his treasure will not defray him as he travels. Another man may be sick too, and sick to death, and this affliction may lie in his bowels as gold in a mine, and be of no use to him. But this bell that tells me of his affliction digs out and applies that gold to me. By this consideration of another's danger, I take mine own into contemplation, and so secure myself by making my recourse to my God, who is our only security. He for whom this bell tolls may, perchance, be so ill as that he knows not it tolls for him. And, perchance, I may think myself so much better than I am, as that they who are about me and see my state may have caused it to toll for me, and I know not that. Who bends not his ear to any bell which upon any occasion rings? But who can remove it from that bell which is passing a piece of himself out of this world? No man is an island, entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by the sea, Europe is the less, as well as if a promontory were, as well as if a manor of thy friends or of thine own were. Any man's death diminishes me, because I am involved in mankind, and therefore never send to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. O my God, thy voice, thy hand is in this sound, and in this one sound I hear the whole consort. I humbly accept thy voice in the sound of this sad and funeral bell. I hear thy Jacob call unto his sons, That which I am now, you must be then. I hear thy prophet saying to Hezekiah, Set thy house in order, for thou shalt die and not live. This is the publishing of his will, and this bell is our legacy, the applying of his present condition to our use. This dead brother of ours, who is now carried out to his burial, seems to preach my funeral sermon in the voice of these bells. The Church is Catholic, universal. So are all her actions. All that she does belongs to all. When she baptizes a child, that action concerns me, for that child is thereby engrafted into that body whereof I am a member. And when she buries a man, that action concerns me. All mankind is of one author and is one volume. When one man dies, one chapter is not torn out of the book, but translated into a better language. God's hand is in every translation, and his hand shall bind up all our scattered leaves again for that library where every book shall lie open one to another. I hear that which makes all sounds music, and all music perfect. I hear thy Son himself saying, Let not your hearts be troubled. Only I hear this change, that whereas thy Son says there, I go to prepare a place for you, this man in this sound says, I send to prepare you for a place, for a grave. As death is the wages of sin, it is due to me. As death is the end of sickness, it belongs to me. And though so disobedient a servant as I may be afraid to die, yet to so merciful a master as thou, I cannot be afraid to come. And therefore, into thy hands, O my God, I commend my spirit. With thy left hand lay the body in the grave, and with thy right hand receive the soul into thy kingdom.